ভালো চাকরি করেন কি করেন না, বেতন কত পারেন এটা দিয়ে বোঝা যায়। সেরকম ভাবে ওই দেশের ক্যাপিটাল মার্কেটের সাইজ কি এটা জানার জন্য দুইটা টার্ম সবাই ইউজ করেন। একটা হচ্ছে মার্কেট ক্যাপ, লিস্টেড কোম্পানিগুলোর আজকে টোটাল মার্কেট প্রাইস কত। 10 years back this figure was $5 billion in Bangladesh, less than $5 billion, and yesterday it was $40 billion US. So in last 10 years time it's a phenomenal growth. There was crisis in Bangladesh. We have seen in 1996, 2010. We have joined SEC after 2010. Government has restructured, and as a restructured plan, our chairman and 4 commissioners like me joined, and we have been doing a lot of reforms in the last 4 to 5 years time. But this crisis will be always there, but doesn't mean that capital market will go away. I give you one example. The greatest depression in the world happened in 1929, which is known as Great Depression. That's the capital market depression in USA. After that 15-20 years, market was in hibernation. Market was sleeping. In USA, in 1987, there was a big market crash, which is known as Black Monday. In one day, 15% market tumble. In 2000, we have seen the dot-com bubble burst. The people who are experienced, they know that the Nasdaq index at that point in time was 5,000, and in just 2 months' time it came down to 2,000. Very lately, recently, we have seen global financial crisis in 2008. We have seen how the entire real estate sector market is coming down. So this is a normal cycle of capital market. There will be ups and downs, but in the process, we learn, we reform, we grow, and we make sure that our capital market finance long-term projects. Now, capital market will not come automatically, will not grow automatically unless the economic grows of a country. It is not possible. If the economy doesn't grow, normally capital market does not grow. Now, what is the prospect of Bangladesh? I'm sure, আমি এখন যে কথাগুলো বলবো next couple of minutes time, you may debate, but I'll talk with statistics. আমাদের মধ্যে একটা ফ্যাশন আছে অনেকের মধ্যেই। আমি একটু বলে নিই, আমি লাস্ট 25 years ধরে I've been working in the financial services sector. তো 25 বছর বড় এক্সপিরিয়েন্স না, বাট যতটুকু এক্সপিরিয়েন্স তাতে দেখেছি এবং অনেক মানুষের সাথে মিশতে হয়েছে। একটা অনেকের মধ্যে একটা ফ্যাশন, বাংলাদেশের কোনো ফিউচার নাই, দিস কান্ট্রি ইজ এ রটেন কান্ট্রি, there are a lot of political problem, ethics problem, governance problem, so this country will go down the drain. Like Henry Kissinger, of the famous Secretary of State of USA, when Bangladesh born 43 years back, said that Bangladesh is a basket case. It's at a tolabihin jhuri. Look at the current statistics. Our per capita income 10-15 years back was less than $500. Now it is $1,314, which is, as per World Bank definition, we have entered into the lower middle income status country. Look into the McKinsey report. McKinsey is a very famous global consulting firm, and they have surveyed the top supply chain director of the global companies who are in apparel industry in the world. And as per their survey, they said that the current RMG export in Bangladesh, which is now $25 billion, can be tripled from here in next 10 years time. We know that many people say that garments has a very dark, possibly very bleak future, but absolutely no, because the supply chain directors, they actually give buy order, and they tell that still Bangladesh is the hottest destination after China in the world in the apparel industry. So if Bangladesh economy has $50 billion target, the BGME has said from 25 will achieve that, you can understand what will happen to Bangladesh economy. Our foreign remittance is now $16 billion, which is not that big, but if you compare with India, which is $80 billion, means India is 5 times bigger than Bangladesh in terms of remittance. But India is 15 times bigger than Bangladesh in terms of size of the geography. So, and India was much better in mathematics and English historically. With that background, we are 1/5 of India in terms of remittance. That's why India also tells that Bangladesh has been doing far better in remittance earning. Bangladesh average life expectancy 10-15 years back was 50 years. Now average life expectancy has gone up to 69 years. Child mortality rate has come down to 2.4. Women fertility rate, one of the population science professor in America was telling Bangladesh is a miracle. In 45 years time, per women child birth rate came down from 7 to 2.2. This is the best record in the world. 99% girls are now enrolling in the school. Very latest, I went to London last September for a global financial, a global investment summit, and we made a presentation there about the prospect of Bangladesh market. And there, HSBC CEO, HSBC Bank CEO was telling that they have done a research on economic prospect of top 30 countries in the world. Bangladesh being very small, but remember, Bangladesh is the 27th economy in the world in terms of GDP size. Maybe per capita income is $1,300, but in terms of total, our GDP is $180 to $200 billion, which is, in terms of ranking, we are 27 countries. So they have done a top 30 countries economic performance projection for next 15 years. This is HSBC report, and HSBC CEO mentioned in that summit that Bangladesh stand out the top 3 performer could be next 15 years time in terms of growth. Standard Chartered CEO, it's not my own statement, Standard Chartered CEO mentioned that in their global franchise, Bangladesh is in the top 10 countries in the world. Have you seen, can you go back and think about what was happening to our telecom sector in 10 years back? There was maybe 1 to 2 million telephone connection in this country. To get one telephone line, we have to wait for 2 years, maybe 50,000 speed money taka we have to pay. But in 10 years time, now our tele-density is 150 million, 120 million in 160 million population country. 120 million, 12 কোটি লোকের হাতে এখন টেলিফোন আছে. And internet penetration now 4 million in this country, and there is a projection that in next 5 years time it will be 80 million internet projection. So there are huge growth in telecommunication, internet, export, remittance, social indicators, as I said, life expectancy. 8 million women are now working in the industrial sector. All this tells that World Bank has mentioned that with such limited resources, this is a model how a country with such limited resources can grow. Professor Amartya Sen, you know he is a Nobel Prize winner, he has been mentioning that Bangladesh has been doing far better than India in achieving the social indicators. This is none of my own words. So all this tells that we have political problem, we have infrastructure problem, we have still low education problem, we have governance problem. Doesn't mean that we will go down the drain. There is a vibrant private sector, there is an active government working, there is an active microcredit organizations working, there is a most important factor, the average or median age of the country is 23 years. 60% of the people in Bangladesh are now less than 30 years of age. In economics, this is known as demographic dividend. When you have this kind of a young, energetic working force, I will just conclude about Bangladesh economy. Very latest report, I don't know whether you have read Boston Consulting Group report. They have published about Bangladesh prospect, and they say that by 2025, our middle class, which is now around 12 million, will be almost 30 million. And with this additional 18 million people joining in middle class in next year's time, there will be massive consumerism in this country. Unilever's CEO mentioned that in Bangladesh, the distribution cost is the lowest because so many people live in so small space that you can distribute everything with much less cost. So that tells that Bangladesh has a huge economic prospect. You may be a supporter of this party or that party, but believe you me, after 10 years, if we talk once again, we'll realize that actually everybody in the world is talking about Bangladesh. Goldman Sachs, a few years back, mentioned that Bangladesh will be the next 11 countries after the BRIC, the Brazil, Russia, India and China. So if Bangladesh economy progress, Bangladesh banking system will progress. And finance, if progress, capital market will progress. And why capital market as a career? I tell you, if you talk about America, we shouldn't talk about America because it's too far, but I just give one perspective. The most valuable professionals in USA are investment bankers, lawyers and doctors. And an investment banker's salary, you cannot even imagine, $1 million. And very respected people, the stockbrokers, fund managers, I come back to Singapore or Hong Kong. Still in Singapore and Hong Kong, the most highly top 2-3 careers are in capital market. In some cases, actually on top of the list, because they know that these people understand the economy, these people understand the finance, these people can manage huge amount of fund. I come back to India. আপনারা জানেন ওদের মিউচুয়াল ফান্ড ইন্ডাস্ট্রি যারা ফান্ড ম্যানেজ করে, they collect fund from the people and manage the fund in the capital market and give dividend at the end of the year. তাদেরকে ফান্ড ম্যানেজার বলা হয়. The highest salary now in India commands the fund managers. There are 10 fund managers in India যাদের বয়স 40 এর নিচে, actually 35, যাদের monthly salary is 1 crore rupee. These are statistics, because these people understand how the economy will perform, how the company will perform, how the money of the people will grow. So this is a highly sophisticated area. Just to give you an example, I did my master's in finance department from Dhaka University. I wanted to be a banker. I started my career in banks, and then I worked bank many years. I now work in I work as a capital market investment banking. Now I work as a regulator. But what I have seen, this is such an exciting area that you need to actually understand the economy before understanding whatever happening in the capital. Without understanding the economy, it's difficult. Then you need to understand the industry. Suppose you are analyzing a cement company. Suppose you are analyzing Lafarge Pharma's prospect. To understand Lafarge Pharma, you have to understand what is happening in the cement sector in the country. To understand what is happening in cement sector, you have to understand what are the infrastructure projects are being taken over by the government or private sector. Who are the competitors? What is the trend of international commodity price in especially the clinker? So there are lots of local, international factors. What is the probability of exchange rate fluctuation? Because if exchange rate fluctuate, your raw material cost can be higher and the prospect of the company can be different. So actually it's not a very debit credit bank account giving some loan. It's not like that. It's real analysis of the world, local economy, local industry, international price, foreign exchange. And also, finally, you have to come back to understand whether the Lafarge management has got qualified people, whether they have got proper risk management system in place, who are their competitors in the local market. When you read a proper equity research note or equity research report of a good analyst, you will understand what is this. There are analysts, আপনার অ্যাপেলকে যে কভার করে যে অ্যানালিস্ট, অনেকেই কভার করে, এবং আমেরিকাতে বা সিঙ্গাপুরে বা হংকংয়ে অ্যানালিস্টরা কোম্পানি কভার করে, তাদের পক্ষে সম্ভব না যে সব কিছু বোঝার। একজন অ্যানালিস্ট লাইফ টাইমে 10 বছর ধরে একটা ইন্ডাস্ট্রি বুঝে, এবং কোনো সময় দেখা যায় 3টা কোম্পানি সে কভার করে সারা জীবনে। এবং উইথ দেয়ার কমেন্ট অ্যাবাউট দ্য প্রসপেক্ট অফ দ্য কোম্পানির সিইও তাকে ডেকে অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট দেয় যে হোয়াট আর ইউ গোইং টু রাইট অ্যাবাউট মাই কোম্পানি, বিকজ উইথ ওয়ান অফ দেয়ার কমেন্ট the wealth of the shareholders can change $1 billion. So you understand how interesting this subject could be. So I tell that there is a huge prospect of capital market, Bangladesh economy, and possibility of growing career in capital market. There are, if you ask me that what is capital market, what should I read, and how can I be engaged? It's not an overnight job. I've been working for last 25 years. Incidentally, I was প্রেসিডেন্ট অফ বাংলাদেশ মার্চেন্ট ব্যাংকার্স অ্যাসোসিয়েশন। আমি অনেকগুলো কাজই লাইফে প্রথম থেকেই আচ্ছা এই কাজটা করলে কেমন হয় দেখা যায়। When I studied in IBA 20 years back, তখন অনেকে বলতো ডাক্তার অথবা ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং পড়ো, তো MBA বা BBA এগুলো কি জিনিস। And I lost my father at very childhood, so there was no guide to me. I thought that আলাপ টালাপ করে মনে হলো যে business administration could be one subject, so I started 20 years back. Then I did my CMA, or you may know about this subject, that management accounting. So I did that even 18 years back, and currently I am Vice President of ICMAB, elected Vice President. When there was a new topic about Chartered Financial Analyst, CFA, so I thought that why not this, I tried, because this is and I started reading that, and it was so interesting and so inspiring that I passed that course. And incidentally, I thought that why not a Bangladesh chapter of CFA society here in Bangladesh. And I tried for last 2 years with my colleagues, And just last month we set up first Bangladesh CFA Society, where I happen to be the first president of the CFA Society. So why I am telling that this does not come in one day. You have to start, you have to think. After this seminar, you go back home and think that I want to build up my career in capital market and I become CEO. It's not like that. There's no shortcut. No way. So I will give my final comment, but before that, what are the areas that you can work? These are so exciting that you can work investment banking. সবাই বলছেন investment banking কি? আপনার কাছে কোম্পানি আসবে যে we need 500 crore taka for investment. So you, Mr. Arif, advise me where can I get this 500 crore taka and what could be the sources, and tell me which source will be beneficial for me in terms of future earnings of the company. This is not an easy task. 500 crore taka, you can go to the bank, you can come to the capital market, you can go to preference share, you can go for bond, you can go for international fund. Now you have to analyze which source is good for this organization and why. What are the tax impact? What are the earnings impact? What is the cost impact? Many people think that taking money from share market has no cost because there is no interest, but actually in books, finance book, we know that equity is the most expensive source of funding. So if you arrange the money from bond, what are the tax advantage? So interesting topic, and then after that you make a presentation before the entrepreneur, say that okay sir, you need 500 crore taka and these are our options A, B, C, and if you go with this is, and he will not give you the job instantly. There are other players like Lanka Bangla or Prime Finance or Greenhill, they are also going to them, I can organize this fund for you. So you will compare with other people that what is your capacity to raise this money, and then they will give you the job. And this is heavily challenging, engaging, and also not only that, investment banking does not come only with technical knowledge. Honestly speaking, technical knowledge is important to become a manager, but to become a leader, you need to get something else. In investment banking, it's not only understanding finance, it doesn't work. When they say that we need 500 crore taka, you need to arrange, then you have to go to the market to talk to the investors. This is the company, this is the product, come and invest in this company. Then you need interaction with people. And that's why when I was young, at least 10 years young, I thought that why not engaging with the merchant banks, and that's why I became Merchant Banks Association president, just to acquire that networking capacity. So I'm telling this to the younger students because, incidentally, sorry to say, or you may say that I'm talking too much about beating my own drum, but I'm beating my own drum just because you're a student. That's why I said that if you get something from me that will be beneficial. I normally give lecture in IB of Dhaka University in BBA and MBA executive programs as a regular guest faculty. So why I go there? Because I want to interact with the young people, and I want to keep myself updated about the latest changes in the finance, and I want to share my experience, and I want to get provocative questions from them so that I feel challenged that younger people are actually more intelligent than me. So why this is? Because Mr. Nasir mentioned that there is no, you think that you passed masters or BBA or MBA or CFA, this is finished. This is just the beginning. Life is a continuous education. It's a journey of knowing that how much ignorant we are about this world. The more we know, the more we realize how little we know. Every day you learn more, you understand how big the universe is. You know, the entire medical science could not discover even more 2% of the human body. Entire medical science research tells that. The cancer, the entire medical science, they work on hypothesis and assumptions still. They cannot fathom out what it is. So there is so much area to understand, to know, which is Mother Nature or Creator has created. So we cannot, no one can feel proud that I know too much. Actually, we don't know anything. So that mentality should be in the young students, that I will learn every day, I will try to work for my betterment, for my career, but most importantly, it's not only me. Our betterment is not a kaaj korle ei room e amra boshe golpo kortam na. We, at the end of the day, we want to have betterment for our family, and eventually
goes back to our nation.